The year is 1912. A Jesuit college nestled in the hills near Rome, Via Mondragone, is quietly struggling. Once a grand estate-turned-religious institution, Via Mondragone had fallen on hard times. Financial strains loomed large, partly due to the rising costs of maintaining the historic property and a steady decline in student enrollment. The Jesuits, who prided themselves on tradition and discretion, found themselves in an uncomfortable position, in need of money but unwilling to publicly admit it. So behind closed doors they began to reach out, quietly, to rare book collectors. One of those collectors was a Polish-Lithuanian man named Wilfrid Voynich, a dealer with a sharp eye for the rare and the strange. When he arrived, he was shown a chest of old manuscripts, dusty, ancient, and forgotten. But one stood out, bound in aged vellum filled with strange illustrations, alien plants, and an indecipherable language. It would soon become one of the most baffling artifacts in modern history. No one knows who wrote it, no one knows why, and over a century after its rediscovery, no one has even come close to understanding what it says. The Voynich Manuscript is more than just an old book. It's a linguistic paradox, a puzzle that resists every attempt at decryption, as if it were never meant to be solved at all. It contains over 240 pages, at least the ones that remain. Some are missing. Others are folded like secret doors. Each one is covered in handwritten script that resembles no known alphabet. The letters flow with unnatural consistency, hinting at a real language, but every pattern falls apart under scrutiny. Cryptographers, linguists, even artificial intelligence have all tried their hand, and all have failed. During World War II, the world's greatest cryptographic minds were busy deciphering the seemingly unbreakable codes of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. But when they weren't breaking Enigma or Purple, some turned their attention to something far older, far stranger: the Voynich Manuscript. One of them was William F. Friedman, the godfather of American cryptography. He led the U.S. Army's Signal Intelligence Service and played a pivotal role in breaking Japan's Purple cipher, a machine-based code considered more complex than Enigma. Friedman was brilliant, fluent in multiple languages, obsessed with patterns, and known for solving the unsolvable. In the early 1940s, he and his team took on the Voynich Manuscript as a side project, curious to see if centuries of mystery could be unraveled with modern tools. They worked in secret, using the same methods they'd used to dismantle enemy codes: statistical analysis, pattern recognition, frequency mapping. But the Voynich Manuscript didn't behave like a real cipher. The text showed structure, but too much. The distribution of words seemed unnatural. Some patterns repeated too consistently, others not at all. It was almost like someone had designed it to look like a real language, but without meaning. Friedman eventually formed the Voynich Manuscript Study Group, a small collective of top minds in the intelligence world. Together they spent decades examining the manuscript. They never cracked it. In fact, Friedman died believing it was likely a very elaborate hoax, perhaps created in the 16th century to fool someone wealthy into thinking they were buying a magical or alchemical text. But not everyone agreed. John Tiltman, a British codebreaker and key figure at Bletchley Park, also studied the manuscript. Tiltman was a pioneer in traffic analysis, the art of detecting patterns in encrypted radio messages. He worked closely with Alan Turing during the war. Tiltman concluded that the manuscript's text was too complex to be a hoax. He suspected it was a cipher of some kind, possibly a very cleverly disguised medieval shorthand or steganographic code. Still, he couldn't decode it either, and neither could anyone else. By the late 1960s, the best codebreakers in the world had given up. If the Voynich Manuscript was a code, it was written in a cipher far beyond anything known to man, or worse. It was never meant to be understood by humans at all. As the Cold War era bloomed with new fears and new frontiers, a new theory emerged, one whispered on the fringes of academia and tucked away in obscure publications. That the Voynich Manuscript was not a hoax, not a cipher, but a message from somewhere else. The illustrations were the first clue. The plants, lush, tangled, otherworldly, don't match any known species. Botanists and herbalists from every continent have tried to identify them. They don't just look unfamiliar, they look impossible, and yet they're drawn with confidence, like someone remembering, not imagining. Some theorists believe these plants are not fictional, but extraterrestrial flora, records of a planet with its own ecosystems, cataloged by a visitor or perhaps by a native. Then there's the astronomy. Circular diagrams show unfamiliar constellations. They don't line up with the zodiac as we know it. The stars are out of place, as if drawn from a different vantage point in space. One diagram seems to depict a star system with multiple moons, more than Earth has. Another seems to show a star emitting strange waves, possibly radiation. Theorists propose, what if this wasn't astronomy from Earth, but from another world entirely, a world far beyond our own? In the 1970s, this idea gained quiet traction, especially among fringe researchers already investigating ancient astronauts and UFO encounters. Erich von Däniken, author of Chariots of the Gods, didn't mention the Voynich Manuscript by name, but his core idea echoed loudly, that Earth has been visited, and those visitors may have left something behind. To believers, the manuscript fits too many oddities. Written in an unknown language, contains biology, astronomy, and engineering no medieval scholar could know, shows symbols and imagery that don't align with human cultural roots. If it isn't a hoax, and it isn't a code, then it might be a report, written by a non-human intelligence, left behind for future discovery. This section has stirred the most unsettling theories. To some, it depicts genetic experimentation, or alien reproduction. To others, it shows interdimensional travel, a record of passing between worlds. Even respected computer scientists, who've modeled the Voynich text, note that the patterns are too regular to be gibberish, yet not quite like any natural human language. Some AI models suggest it may be a constructed language, designed with an internal logic completely foreign to human syntax. So if that's true, who constructed it, and why? Today, the Voynich Manuscript sits in a climate-controlled vault at Yale University. Cataloged as MS-408, it rests in the Voynich Rare Book Library, among other historical texts, illuminated manuscripts, and forgotten fragments of ancient thought. You can see it, you can even hold it, if you're granted permission, but most people experience it the same way you are now, through a screen. Yale digitized the entire manuscript years ago. Every page, every ink stroke is online, for free. Anyone in the world can study it, and many have tried. Some scholars believe the text is a natural language, just one we've never seen. Others say it may be a constructed language, a medieval experiment in linguistic art. And others still believe it's meaningless, a trick, a riddle with no answer. But there's something about the consistency of the script, the structure of the sections, the confidence of the handwriting, that makes it hard to accept that there's nothing behind it. Whatever the Voynich Manuscript is, a code, a prayer, a joke, a map, a memory, it has outlived its author, outlasted centuries, and survived every attempt to erase its mystery. Maybe we're not supposed to solve it. Maybe we're just meant to look at it and wonder. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's deep dive, please like and subscribe, as it helps me to keep putting out more content. Until next time.